want to hit on like managing, like staying the course. Because I think a lot of people just want a quick fix. Like they are just like, I'm sad, I don't like this feeling, so what can I do that's instantaneous that lets it all go away? But it's like a process, as you're saying, like it's a multi-year process. So my thing was like, when you were in the thick of it, how did you stay the course? Like, how did you kind of manage the best of your ability? Like I know there were hard moments, good moments, but what kept you going, I guess, to get to the other side of it?
I know a lot of people can't relate to this, but being a mom,
yeah,
like I couldn't stay down for too long because I have children, but my kids saw me crying on the floor.
Yeah.
I was vulnerable. I had my moments. I had my sadness. And, I would tell myself like, no, you're going to get up and you're going to go for a walk, or, let's make a meal together, or let's connect, let's watch a movie, for God's sakes, do something.
Yeah.
And I did the whole dating app thing, as we do. We swipe to numb and go on these dates. And then finally you get to a point where you're like, no, listen to yourself. Listen, this is not what you want. And then you start to value your time. And I think at the beginning, you hate time because there's so much of it. Yeah. And you're sitting in sadness and you're like, no, this is awful. But then you start to value that because there's so much growth that happens in that time. But it's hard in the beginning. So it's a constant reminder. I always say that healing is about awareness. As soon as you have awareness, it's constantly just bringing it back, like bringing your awareness back to the healing journey and to what you're doing and what you want. And it's staying afloat. Like you're basically just trying to keep your head above water.
Yeah, I like that you brought up being a mom, because I feel like I get a lot of like female like clients that are like, I'm a mom, it's kind of a struggle, is it worse or whatever, like with dating or just growth in general. And I'm like, dude, you have this beautiful creature of truth, like this is your honesty, this is what keeps you afloat, this keeps you motivated, this keeps you going, like even in dating, like I'm a mom, like that's a real thing of me being in my honest truth. It's like I'm not gonna hide that, that's a part of me, and that's a beautiful filter to have to see who's really about it or not, versus, but you'd be wasting time anyway, if that was the case. So it's interesting to hear that was a constant motivation for you, which is beautiful to have. I think in terms of now that you're like, you say you are managing and working on, but in a different way, what have you learned in the past that's helping you manage a little more efficiently now? And what is your course of management, say, when you start having those feelings or you're having those thoughts? Like, how do you kind of bring yourself back to center?
Oh, I allow myself to feel. I don't sugarcoat it anymore. I'm like, oh man, I'm feeling shitty. So I sit in that, and I go for a walk and I think about it, and I allow myself to feel whatever I'm feeling. Where before I felt like it was just constant, and it was like, I don't want to feel this way. You try not to feel it. Yeah. Where you come to terms with it, you're like, yeah, there's a lot of pain there, but we've done a lot of work.